You're not sad, you're not stressed, but something still feels missing.
You wake up. Nothing is wrong. No crisis, no chaos. And still, something feels missing. Not sadness, not stress, just emptiness. Like you're living your life, but not really inside it. And the strangest part is, you can't explain why. So you start asking yourself, if everything is fine, why don't I feel anything? It shows up in small moments. You finish something you worked hard on and feel nothing. You're with people who care about you, but you feel distant, like you're watching from outside. Even things you used to enjoy don't land the same way anymore. So you start questioning yourself. Am I ungrateful? Is something wrong with me? But you keep functioning. You show up. You respond. You do what's expected. From the outside, your life looks stable, but inside, it feels flat. This is what psychologists call emotional blunting, a state where your emotional range becomes limited, not because you don't have emotions, but because your brain has learned to turn the volume down. And the confusing part is, this often happens not when life is falling apart, but when you've been holding it together for too long. So let's make something clear. You're not broken. You're adapted. Your brain is not failing you. It's protecting you in a way that no longer feels helpful. At some point, feeling everything was too much, so your mind made a quiet decision, better to feel less than feel overwhelmed. And over time, that less became your normal. This is not a flaw in your personality. It's a survival pattern. But here's the question that matters. If your brain learned this once, can it learn something different now? To understand this, you have to understand how your brain handles emotion. Think of your emotional system like a soundboard. Every feeling, joy, anger, fear, excitement, has its own slider. When life gets overwhelming, your brain doesn't just lower one slider, it lowers all of them. This is called emotional regulation through suppression. It's largely controlled by the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for control and decision-making. When it detects emotional overload, it sends signals to dampen activity in the amygdala, which processes emotional intensity. Too much emotional input leads to a suppression response, and the result is reduced emotional experience. But here's the trade-off. The brain doesn't selectively numb. It can't say, let's remove anxiety but keep joy. So when it protects you from negative intensity, it also mutes positive depth. You don't feel bad, but you don't feel much at all. Another way to see this is through a simple mental model, the emotional battery. If you've been running on low emotional energy for a long time, your system goes into power-saving mode, not to harm you, but to keep you functioning. And in that mode, everything becomes minimal, even joy. So how do you shift this without forcing yourself to feel more? Not by chasing emotions, but by retraining your nervous system to feel safe experiencing them again. Start by reducing emotional suppression in small moments. Notice when you automatically shut down feelings. Pause for a few seconds instead of distracting yourself. This works because it weakens the brain's habit of over-suppressing emotional signals and allows emotions to be processed naturally again. For example, if you feel a slight wave of sadness at night, instead of reaching for your phone, you sit with it for just 10 seconds, not analyzing, just allowing. Next, reintroduce novelty to break predictive patterns. Change small parts of your routine, your route, your music, your environment. The brain predicts experiences to conserve energy, and predictability reduces emotional response. Novelty activates the dopamine system, increasing engagement. For example, instead of your usual evening routine, you take a different walk or try something unfamiliar, even if it's small. The goal isn't excitement, it's interruption. Then engage in low-stakes emotional expression. Write one honest sentence a day about how you actually feel. This works because labeling emotions activates parts of the brain that increase awareness and reduce numbness. For example, you don't need a full journal, just one sentence, "I feel disconnected today." That's enough. You can also reconnect through physical sensation. Focus on touch, temperature, movement. Emotions are not just processed in the mind, but also through the body. Engaging the body helps bypass overthinking and reactivates emotional pathways. For example, holding something cold, feeling water on your hands, or walking slowly and noticing each step. Simple, but grounding. And finally, stop measuring your feelings. Let go of constantly checking if you feel something yet. Monitoring emotions too closely activates the control system again, which brings back suppression. Instead of asking, "Why am I still empty?" shift to, "What am I experiencing right now?" even if it's subtle. That small shift reduces pressure, and pressure is often what keeps emotions blocked. So here's the pattern. You're not empty because there's nothing inside you. You're empty because your system learned that feeling less is safer than feeling fully. Like a dimmed room, the light is still there, it's just turned down. And the way back isn't through intensity, it's through permission. Small moments of allowing, small interruptions of routine, small reconnections with your body. Over time, those small signals tell your brain something new. It's okay to feel again. You don't need to force yourself to be happier. You don't need to fix yourself, because this emptiness is not the absence of something. It's the result of something that once protected you. And protection can be softened, not all at once, but slowly, quietly, until one day you don't notice a big change, just a small moment where something feels real again. And that's where it begins.
Maybe you're not empty, you've just been quiet for too long, and now you're slowly learning how to feel again.